Yeehaw! It's time for the Texans Squad. Everything Houston Texans, every week. Bringing you the big hits, game-changing plays, and all the action straight from the Lone Star State. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Saddle up and squad up. It's the Texans Squad Show, starting now.
And for the first time in 2025, the Houston Texans have a victory as they take down the Titans in shutout fashion, 26-0 today, moving to 1-3 on the season. After a first half, gentlemen, that did not look so spectacular, a far superior second half, and they rolled to a very easy victory over that former Houston team. I am Michael Connor. That's Wade Smith and Stan Norfleet with you. We believe we're going to get John in here at some point. He's at the post-game press conference right now. I think he's going to try and jump in for a few minutes at least after those get done. But, guys, we'll start it here. Like I said, first half wasn't so pretty. Both sides missing field goals left and right. I mean, the Titans should have been tied with the Texans 6-6 at halftime, but they weren't because their kicker can't hit things inside of 50. But overall, you get a victory. Are you feeling better about this football team after finally getting into the win column?
I'm feeling better about the fact that we beat the Nashville Titans wannabe Oilers. I feel great about that. I always feel great about that. I never liked them. I still don't like them. And so anytime that we beat them, it's a great day to be a Texan. It's a great day to be a Houstonian. And all the other stuff, you know, we're going to get into it throughout the show. But, hey, a goose egg, 26 points scored. Woody Marks showed out. A lot of good things that I saw out there, a lot of things that need to get corrected, a lot of things that was kind of same old. When you talk about, you know, not getting into the red zone in the first half, not converting drives and scoring touchdowns, things like that, like those things have to be corrected against better opponents, especially a team like Baltimore coming up. But, hey, you beat the Tennessee Titans. It's a great day to be a Texan.
Stan, how you feeling?
I feel good about the fans, you know, people over there at NRG. I feel good about those of us that cover the team. It's nice to be able to talk about a victory. I know people listen to the show, leaving NRG, and folks watching at home, that's logged on. Look, there are some things to like. And if they had lost, then I would come on here with a certain type of energy. So I'm going to have the opposite energy because they won. So I'm going to be respectful. It's hard to win in the National Football League, and they won. But I wouldn't be me, and I would not be on brand if I didn't state the obvious. That's an awful Tennessee Titans team. And they struggled for most of that game. Let's be honest. The way the score ended up looking is not indicative of what the game really was, and we all know that. So if you want me to come on here and believe that their problems are fixed, for example, the Tennessee Titans, I think coming into this game had they had more interceptions than sacks. I think they had 2 sacks coming into the day. I saw CJ under duress, especially in the first half. Maybe y'all saw the same thing. So if you want me to believe that the protection is fixed, no. Woody Marks, congratulations, sir. It's the National Football League. You get a check on Tuesday, you ball. Nico Collins, yeah, they took the catch away. I get it. But Nico still showed up. Cool. A week from now, we'll have a different conversation. But today, we'll celebrate.
I think that's the best way to put it. You know, there's a lot of things that are not going to completely go away from this one. And we'll get deeper into Woody Marks here in the second segment because I want to dedicate plenty of time to him alone. Defensively, though, let's talk about the defense here before we get into the offense stuff. You know, this is another week where, and I do agree, the Tennessee Titans look like they're going to be a contender for the first pick in the draft once again this year.
Again,
they are good. But the defense does it again today, guys. And you know, 4 games into the season, I think that there's one thing that is the biggest positive, obviously, is that every single week it feels like defense is going to obviously give you a chance to win the football game. It's the other side that we're going to continue to talk about. Can they do enough? But what can you say more about this defense than what they've given you through 4 games, Wade?
Listen, man, Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson, the defensive line beat up on the Tennessee Titans offensive line all throughout the game. I thought that the Tennessee Titans played into the Texans' hands by playing a lot of 12 personnel where they had 2 tight ends in the game, 2 receivers, so that The Texans defense can stay in base, so you had a lot of 3 linebacker looks out there for the Texans. I like to see that. Listen, Sting got a pick. He got his pick off of pressure. Pressure caused Cam Moore to have to pull that ball and try to scramble and make a throw. And listen, guys may play after play. I like what I saw of Jalen Petrie, tackles for loss. They just overall, they played a damn good ball game. And they've continued. They played damn good ball games to a certain degree for all the games this year. You know, they gave up a drive at the end of a couple of ball games that end up costing them the game, but they kept them in every single game. And the same with this game. Like the first half of the game, you only had 6 points scored by the Texans offense, and multiple times there were opportunities for the Texans offense to pull this game away and pull off with it, and it didn't happen until late in the ball game, late third quarter, fourth quarter, that actually finally happened, as opposed to what's happened in the past of where you have a situation where the offense continues to make mistakes and then the defense finally breaks. The dam finally breaks. That didn't happen today, and so you got to give credit where it's due. That's the side of the ball that this team is going to lean on all year long, and you saw that again today.
Stan, what did you think of the defense once again in this one?
I think it's difficult in the national. Matter of fact, I know it's difficult in the National Football League to shut out anybody. So to get a shutout today is commendable. I know you're asking about the defense at large overall. Now I'm gonna stand on this table, or stand on this hill, I should say. I don't think this defense got better with the retraction of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I think he could have helped this team. It didn't work out for the way that it worked out. But like, it'll be an afterthought at this point because they went out there and they shut out a Tennessee Titans team. Now look, again, the Titans aren't good, but at the same time, that's still the NFL. And what I saw, the pressure from Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, I saw Azeez Al-Shah running around making plays. Wade mentioned the pick by Stingley, which came off a deflection. It still counts. You still got to get them. It still matters. And if you looked at the tempo of what was happening in the exchange leading up to that interception, like the Titans were gaining momentum upon Stingley getting that interception. So when you add it all up, man, I think it's one of those, and Wade, you'll feel me on this. Wade, you remember those games you play in and you're like, bro, we needed that one, but it becomes like a brick. Like, okay, we can build upon that, and then we can build upon that, and you don't care in the rain, you don't care if it's cold, you don't care what the score is. Like, we just needed to see the confidence of this team putting 3 consecutive possessions, 3 consecutive touchdowns. Like, you need to see that mountain. I get it. That's from the offensive side. But, like, the defense, when they pull away from NRG today, Will Anderson and Azeez and Sting and those guys go, like, we shut somebody out. We're continuing to play good ball, and they should have confidence, and let us hope that there is momentum that they can gain from that.
Wade, what did you think, real quick, by the way, before we get to our first time out? Stan brought it up there, the defense and CJGJ, because we didn't get your thoughts, obviously, during the week. What did you think of that release during the week, that happening?
I was surprised. I was surprised, and you saw all of the news that came out with it and the reasoning behind it, and it made
details.
There was a lot of details that let you know that it was personal. Known that, like, hey, we made this move for a reason. It wasn't without merit per se, and people can agree or disagree with if they would have made the move or not, but. Based off of the information that was put out there, I understand why the move was made. At the same time, you made a decision to bring that guy in there. You made a decision to trade asset to get this guy back and paid him a lot of money. And so because it didn't work out, that's a bad move. But you can't have people that are considered cancers in the locker room, or people that aren't, apparently they weren't being accountable, all those type of things. You can't have that, especially in a situation where, the team is losing, and so that just makes everything worse. And so, yeah, it was definitely surprising, but when you see the information that came out with it, you understand it. But hey, the Texans have to overcome the fact that you lost a good football player and you couldn't make it work.
Could not make it work.
Wait, I'm sorry, my MC, can I jump in 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Wait, 7 to 8 million in dead money?
Yeah.
That's not peanuts, brother. You know how this works.
Yeah.
Like that's a starter and maybe 2 starters. Like that, people brush over that part. Like, Yeah, it's not my money, and I get it. But that's somebody that's not playing for you. You need players, especially when you get late in the year. You need bodies and bodies that perform at a certain level. So I just wanted to hear what your thoughts were on Caserio eating that 7 to 8 million. And if you heard during the week, they said, D'Amico said in the presser, he was asked, did you at least try and get a trade partner? He said no. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, the fact of the matter is, no, I didn't hear that. I heard that, was there anyone that offered trade? And he said no, and he said it very quickly. I took it as, could you get anybody to bite on him? And he was like, no, we couldn't get anybody.
I don't believe that. I
don't know
believe
if
that.
that's true, but I don't know if that's true or not.
Wait, you don't believe that.
Now listen what I'm saying. The way the exchange with the way the question was asked, it was asked, were you able to get anything in trade value for 8? And the question and the answer was very quickly, no, we weren't able to get anything for him. And so the move was made. So I don't know if that's true or not. He's not on the team right now. I do know that.
Wait, you know that man is going to play football this year. Stop this. He's going to start the next team.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this. If he was a tradable asset right now, they would have traded him, right? If they did not trade him and he's still not on a roster yet, that means all these teams that are out there that might have a need, all they're doing is cutting them a check. And it's not going to even be a big check because he's already getting paid by the Texans. So if he was somebody that was just in a super high demand today, he'd be on a roster today because he's that good of a player. But I think what I'm gathering is the fact that he's not on the roster, people are like, hey, we got going on what we got going on here. We want to mess with no chemistry issues, anything like that. And that's why maybe he's not on the roster yet. But do I think he'll end up on the roster this year? Of course. People are willing to deal with headaches if you got somebody that plays well enough. And he's one of those guys that kind of fits in that category. But, you know, he's not on the roster right now. So
it didn't work here. Yeah.
It tells me that they probably couldn't get anything for him trade-wise.
Yeah, they couldn't get anything for him, and, well, he's not a problem it wasn't a problem not having him this week as the Texans shut out the Titans to get the first victory of the season. Let's talk about Woody Marks and the running back position. That question mark now. We'll do that here in a brief moment on the Locked on Texans Squad Show. Before we get there, though, I got a couple of messages for you guys real quick. First up, this episode's brought to you by Prize Picks. Every day we make decisions, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss the excitement of this football season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Playing Prize Picks is such a fun and simple way to add more excitement to football. You just pick more or less on player projections, like Josh Allen's passing yards or Saquon Barkley rushing for a touchdown. You're in the game. It's also fun to follow other players in the app and copy their lineups. You do that with one click. Very, very cool feature there in the Prize Picks app. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. It's good to be right. One more message before we get back to our discussion on the Texans' victory today. They had the energy. Maybe they had a couple of these before the game. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-hour energy shots, tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee plus B vitamins and nutrients with zero sugar and zero crashes. What I love most about them is just how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and you get the boost when you need it. Sometimes you're just out and about. You need that favorite flavor. You grab it, you go. Your day's good to go once again. Enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold or try something new in store or online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon today. Oh, hail victory. The Texans with a win over the Titans today, 26-0. A little bit of revenge for last season as well because the Titans came into NRG and got the victory over the Texans a year ago. Michael Connor, Wade Smith, and Stan Norfleet with you. We're breaking it all down here on the Locked on Texans YouTube page. Don't forget, of course, if we do get John in here at some point out of the press conference, he hosts the daily podcast, which you can always catch here on this channel. Make sure you subscribe to it. You can also find this anywhere that you get your podcast. Just search for Locked On Texans. All right, guys. Woody Marks. Let's talk about the running back position. You know, we've talked about Nick Chubb quite a bit this year, obviously with Joe Mixon being out. We still have no idea, and it feels like more and more time goes by, it's just never going to have an answer to it. But Woody Marks slowly has been getting more responsibility in this lineup, more playing time today, features in both the passing game and leading the team in carries. 17 carries, 69 yards, his first career touchdown run. 4 carries, 4 receptions, 50 yards on 5 targets for a touchdown as well. And Stan, before you got in there, we were talking about it, Wade and I were briefly, Wade brought it up, obviously had a very big pancake block in the backfield in pass protection today. So is Woody Marks played his way already into being RB1 for the Houston Texans, Wade?
I'll say, yeah. I know John was on this about, a couple months ago. When I first met him, he was talking about Woody Marks being RB1, and he looks like he was Nostradamus there. He knew what he was talking about as far as, prophetically saying this guy is the guy, needs to be the guy. And Woody Marks has continued to get opportunities, continued to build on successful performances. He's done it the right way. Guys in the locker room can probably appreciate the way that he is continued to earn more playing time. And guys in front of him did things that created opportunities because they did not make plays or they made mistakes. And when he got his opportunities, he's taking making the best of them. And he's looked damn good out there. I like the fact that I saw that Kaylee called some more outside zone today on an 18-yard touchdown run that he had at the end of the ball game. That was on an outside zone run. Marrying up some of those play actions with some outside zone. The last couple of games you saw them run outside zone fakes, but they hadn't run outside zone. So I'm glad that they did a little bit of that. And it wasn't like that was all they did. They didn't just major in any one thing. But I just thought overall, for a run game, I thought they ran the ball pretty successfully. Chubb ran well. I think he probably averaged 4 yards a carry as well. Seemed
It's like 3.6, something like that.
3.6, but both of those guys, I thought in the run game, I didn't think to myself, these guys are not getting any hay done. I thought they were consistently getting 3s and 4s in the run game, and then towards the end of the ball game, they started breaking longer ones. But Woody Marks, I think he deserves to have that RB1 moniker right now.
Now let's see where Stan lands, because we know that Stan does not trust rookie running backs. He loves to tell us. So, do you feel better about Woody Marks after a big game today?
I celebrate and congratulate Woody Marks on his career day. It's hard in the National Football League, especially at that position. Woody Marks in all 3 phases from a running back standpoint, in terms of rushing, catching the ball, and pass pro. Woody Marks was on his A game today, and I respect that, and I salute to that. I can't hate on that. There's nothing negative I can say about that part. I thought the thing that really impressed me about Marks today, and again, not seeing the tape, just going off top of mind, guys, is excellent contact balance. I like that he was able to get additional yardage after contact. I love that he was elusive in the pass receiving game and being able to make a first man miss, and again, the ability to fall forward. The thing that I thought was most impressive, symbolic of the overall run game, was the amount of carries. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but this is the first time 30 carries and I think 116 yards by both running backs today, averaging in the neighborhood of 4 yards a carry. This was a concentrated effort by Nick Caley as offensive coordinator to make sure that in the run game in the first half and the second half, I think those carries last week, I believe, was in the neighborhood of 13 to 15 carries. So to double that again, and I'm going to say it because it needs to be said, albeit an awful Titans team, is what needed to happen. And again, another building block that we hope they keep this formula moving forward.
And guys, I don't think we can go past it without pointing it out. I mean, something that we've talked about so much in the first few games of the season is the Texans getting dominated in time of possession today. Obviously, running the ball now, it wasn't as a team an incredible clip. It was below 4 yards a carry as a team. But to run the ball 35 times and then to have the time of possession 38-21, that has to boost a little bit of confidence inside that room that, hey, you can control a football game. Am I wrong?
That's how they want to play, Wade.
Yeah, that's the way they want to play the game. You could tell how it went in the first half. where there were opportunities for them to maybe throw the ball around more, and you could tell they were lining up and with a fullback doing lead draws. A lot of just run heavy thought process with how they were going to do things. And when you have a defense like that, when you have a special teams that plays at a high level for the most part, you're going to play to your strengths and you're going to try to minimize errors. And you saw, especially early on in the ball game, I think they had one penalty in the first half, which you ain't been able to say that about the Texas team in a long time. And so I think they wanted to come out and play a clean game and make sure that they were on point as far as mentally staying into the game and making sure that they weren't making mistakes and beating themselves. And you kind of saw that with the type of play calling that they were doing as far as running the football.
Hey, MC, before we move, let me just say this because I don't know that I answered it right off the rip. Nick Chubb will still start for me. I will give Woody his touches, but I'm starting the game hammering Nick Chubb until or if we get Joe Mixon back. Am I ready to just say start Woody? I'm not. And it's not about necessarily what Woody hasn't done. It's more stylistically. I trust Chubb more with how this offense is built. Be sturdy, be solid, be dependable, and then we'll build the passing game off of that. So I'm not ready to anoint Woody Marks running back one, though he did have a hell of a day.
Yeah, I do wonder. I mean, like, are they even going to reach a point where they say, well, I mean, or where they get to the point where one guy's really getting a heavy amount of carries more than the other one? I think a day like today is probably what it looks like. Would that be fair to say? I mean, 17-13. I mean, if you walk away with that, we've seen this. That's been the one trend so far. Now, the trends that there's been two trends. Every week, Woody Marks is getting more responsibility, but every week, Nick Chubb's carries have basically been the same. It's been between 10 and 15 every week, and that has not changed. So I think that is probably the right assumption to just assume it keeps going this way, right?
I would say this, and I agree with your points you're making as far as the distribution, and Nick Chubb is going to get what he's going to get, but I feel like even if Nick Chubb starts the game, Woody Marks is RB1. And in my mind, you just being the first back out there for the first series doesn't make you RB1. When it talks about the amount of touches between the two guys, to me, if it's a 65-35 or it's a 60-40 split, because Woody Marks, what he does in the pass game, he becomes an explosive guy.
Sure.
He's catching the ball in space. He's making guys miss. He's breaking tackles. And so I want to get him as many touches as you can. So, hey, if Nick Chubb starts the game, I don't mind that. But I want the touches to look like and people to know, like, I want fantasy football players to be like, I can play Woody Marks because he's going to get the majority touches in his game.
I think the word for me, MC, closing out is like, I appreciate, we talk so much about complimentary football. I think Marks and Chubb complement each other extremely well. When the offensive line gives them a chance and CJ is taking care of the football, we'll get to CJ later, but, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But when CJ and this run game are locked in, they complement each other perfectly. And I think that's a healthy space. Like, we've been searching, like, where can the offense build from? Nico wasn't getting the ball early in the year, and CJ taking the sacks, and the offensive line not holding up. I think Chubb and Woody are like foundational pieces that you can at least let's focus on that and build from there.
You guys brought up the other thing too, discipline, and I wanted to get to that briefly before we grab our timeout. Today, penalty-wise, Wade, you mentioned, I think, one in the first half. They ended up 6 for 50. Were you overall pleased with the attention to maybe a more disciplined football game today out of this football team after the first 3 weeks were kind of atrocious?
Yeah, man. Now, I will say this. There was that series in there where you had, like, back-to-back. I don't know if they were holding.
Oh, talking about Titus? Yeah, Titus had some laundry early, yeah.
They had some laundry to where it basically destroyed the drive, where they looked like they were getting rolling, and then it just destroyed the drive. That's the stuff that you can't have. But I thought overall, you look at the way they played the game, 6 penalties. When was the last time the Texans had a game where they only had 6 penalties? Like, I think that would be a good trivia question. It's probably been a few years. So I'll take that performance every time. They still got some things they got to clean up always, of course, but I thought that they did pretty well.
I was uncomfortable. Go ahead. I'm sorry, MC.
No, I was just saying your thoughts too.
Yeah, I do celebrate that. It looks like they cleaned it up. I agree concur with what Wade had to say in terms of cleaning it up and having a good historic effort. And then those few penalties early again. I think Titus and I forget whoever else was on that early. The thing though that gives me concern as I think through it, far too many times, I repeat, versus a bad football team. Man, they were 1st and 12, 1st and 15, 2nd and 20. Like, they were still behind and down the distance a lot today, more than I'm comfortable with. I get it. It's the NFL, and I want to make sure I give those men in Nashville the respect of going out there on Sunday, being part of whatever it is, the 48-man active roster. But I need the Texans. We got to continue to improve, and watch that down the distance. It was some negative yardage, and the penalties were a part of that. So still got to get that cleaned up. It was enough today, and that's all that mattered. The Texans went 1-0 in week 4.
They went 1-0, and that is what mattered. Now let's talk the quarterback, and let's talk about what we saw out of him as the game moved along as well, and the offensive line that protected him all day long as well. That's next here on the Locked On Texans Squad Show. Before we get there, talking about that quarterback, we got a few things to talk about here. Let's talk about Rougiet. Well, what do you have when you have a bald eagle standing on top of a silverback gorilla riding a T-Rex? That's confidence. It's pure confidence. If you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to go ahead and meet Rougiet Go Long. Now, look, guys, you obviously heard of Viagra or Cialis. You probably tried them. But if you're looking for something that's beyond that usual pill, it's time to meet that Rougiet Go Long. It's because it's beyond that usual pill. It's exactly where Rougiet Go Long comes in. It isn't just another ED pill. It's a total game changer for confidence. Look, the effects can last up to 36 hours. That's confidence all day, all night, and even into the next day. The process is simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor online, and if you're prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly right to your door. If prescribed, your treatment, like I said, yes, it ships right there to that door. You need to remember that, so you don't have to worry about it. It is discreet. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to RUGIET.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $15 off your first order, or 15% off, your first order. That's RUGIET.com, promo code LOCKEDONNFL, and make sure you use our promo code so they know that we sent you. Texans with a victory today as the squad show continues. Michael Connor, Wade Smith, former Texans offensive lineman, and Stan Norfleet. We're here with you breaking it down as the Texans get to 1-3 on the season, staying alive. Looking inside the division, guys, as we're doing this show live, 49ers currently beating the Jaguars 3-0, and the Rams currently beating the Colts 3-0. Those games are very early, so it could be a good Sunday for the Texans. Boy, does this city of Houston deserve some good times after all the bad that's been going on in it lately in terms of the sports world. So we love to see this. CJ Stroud today. What we love to see is him have a good, solid game, and he had a good, solid game today. Obviously, there was a little bit of dinking and dunking. There wasn't a lot of offense like we talked about in the first half. But as the game moved along, and to me, the biggest moment of this game, Wade, you brought up the penalties that they had in the second half. They got to 1st and 30. And then it was like 2nd and 33 because they call a run play, and the Titans. And look, I don't understand for 1 second why L'Jarius Sneed was talking this week about Nico Collins, because on multiple occasions today he just didn't even touch Nico Collins and just let him run by and make plays. But Nico Collins making a big play there, I really thought set CJ to kind of take that game over at that point and really play great football down the stretch. But what did you guys think of his overall day today for C.J. Stroud picking up his first win, Wade?
I hated how many times he got hit today. CJ is tough, but when CJ gets hit, you can tell he's feeling those hits. And I don't like to see him get hit. And a couple times, it was just a poor job of him protecting himself. I thought there were times we could have got the ball out a little bit quicker and not taking a hit. There was a couple of times where the offensive line just didn't do a good job. There was a couple of times where maybe it was a tight end, blocking the edge, didn't do a good job, and he got hit late. But every time he gets hit, I kind of cringe. I cringe. Now, that's part of the offensive lineman in me that I hate to see my quarterback get hit. But like I said, when CJ gets hit, you can tell he's feeling those hits.
Yeah.
And so, and I don't want him to start seeing ghosts because he's getting hit in ball games. There was a time early in the ball game where I was at the game. It's in the first quarter. I'm at the game and I'm in the stands. You couldn't actually say, I wish I had a TV copy at that moment of who got beat, but somebody came right in the A gap and blew it up. And I was just like, what are we doing here? And so that type of stuff can't happen. At the same time, I thought that he made some big time throws to Nico Collins. I believe on that drive when it got to like 2nd and 33 and Nico hits the long pass down the sideline.
Yep.
That was vintage, or it reminded me of, we talked about it last week, how back in the day when D-Hop was here and with Deshaun Watson, it was just like, hey, the offense didn't look very good, but then he would just throw it up to Hop and make a play. That's what it reminded me of. It's like, hey, we got one of those guys on our team, and we got a quarterback that's one of those guys, and they just made a play and got him out of a hole. And that's the type of stuff that CJ Stroud can do. Just keep him clean, keep him from getting hit. But I thought for the most part there was a lot of short passes that was going on in the ball game. It wasn't like they were just letting him hold the ball for a long period of time. And when you see the evidence of what's happened over the past few weeks, I understand why.
Stan, what'd you make of this day?
I thought it was all right. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Well, he was under 250 yards. I don't have it up in front of me. Obviously, I'm sitting in the car doing this. So what was his yardage, MC?
22 of 28, 233, the 2 touchdowns like you mentioned, sacked twice, 9 yards, 125.1 rating, and 8.3 yards per attempt.
I mean,
CJ, you want to take that take back again, Stan?
Which one?
Well, I think you said he was just all right today.
He was all right. He was all right.
Say the numbers again.
22, 28, 233, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
He was all right today. Okay. He was good today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. He was good today. Now, albeit versus an awful Titans team, he was good today.
Now, well, real quick, I will say this real quick before you finish, Stan. Sorry, I will interrupt. He did have one huge miss of a throw. The miss to Dalton Schultz was bad. That was. Oh, yeah, I don't know why he threw a line drive. Just throw a lollipop up there. I mean, look, I know it's hard in the moment and all those things, but man, that was a bad miss. He knew it too. But go ahead, Stan.
So I was actually not concerned about CJ and the numbers. We all knew the Texans would win. At least I think we did. Yeah. I said it last week. I said they're going to smack the Titans, didn't I? After last week's postgame show, I said they're going to smack Tennessee. I expect them to smack Tennessee. I was less concerned about CJ in terms of like the win and loss because I knew they would win. I was concerned with how would it look, and really, Wade, how would he look? Like CJ, going back to whatever you want to call it, Hatgate, and wearing the hats, and I do think it was tone deaf. I think CJ can be better. I think his PR staff and all of that, it's not about if he has the right to wear whatever. Clearly he does. It's about what's appropriate for the position, given the time and space that we're in at what was an 0-3 football team, and I'm the franchise quarterback. So I would suspect he's probably going to get asked about the hats today. I wanted to see, though, because his people, he said he's not on social media right now, but his people are, and they're telling him this is the narrative in the city of Houston about you by some. It might be the minority, fine. But I thought that he stepped in there, he handled it. To your point, Wade, CJ's been getting hit the last 3 years, if we're really being honest. And at some point, those hits take a toll. We know that CJ worked on his body in the offseason, his hips and his butt and his thighs. Like, he could clearly see he's gotten bigger because he know he has to withstand some of those hits that are coming. So he's done a good job of protecting himself. But that attrition, the National Football League is no joke. Wade knows better than the two of us do, MC. Like, those things add up. So I'm concerned. But today, he was good. And it was good enough. The defense helped him out, and they took advantage of those opportunities. You live to fight another week. Now, let's see if they can keep that same energy when they got to go up here to M&T a week from today.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. I think, overall for me today, like you guys, the stat line is good. Everything, it looked a lot better. I like the decision making a little bit better today. I did like he how many run? He only ran the ball 4 times. He had a couple of times though where he took the easy, get the couple of yards, and just move on with it instead of try to make something that's not there. I do want to ask, again, you don't want to go in and just over target people. I get it. But man, it just still feels like there's not enough Nico Collins in our life sometimes. He only had 6 targets today. And I know matchups and whatnot, but does that bug you guys at all still? I mean, we know that this offense, they're going to dink and dunk, like we said. The running back's going to be more involved. We saw that with the New England style forever. Tom Brady loved to throw to running backs. He loved to throw to tight ends. That's what this system obviously can cater to. But man, I just still feel like you're leaving a little bit of something out there in terms of looking for Nico. Am I wrong?
Yeah, you want to create as many opportunities as you can for your best offensive player. That's just period. That's just basic ball. Hey, you have the best players on your team on the offensive side of the ball. You want to get the ball in their hands, and so 6 targets is not as many targets as you would want for. To me, Nico Collins needs to get 10 to 12 targets every game. Like every single game needs to get at least 10 to 12 targets. And so if you're not doing that, then what are you doing instead? Well, they did get the ball to Woody Marks consistently. I thought they got the ball to Dalton Schultz a lot consistently, and that was early and often, and he was getting the ball out quick. So I understand it. Nico Collins, a lot of his routes that they end up throwing are deeper routes. They're trying to get him down the field. They're trying to make explosive plays with Nico Collins. And so you understand kind of why the distribution worked out the way it did. But, the play calling and the coaching staff and the game plan, they have every opportunity to create more targets for Nico Collins. And I think going forward, I would hope that would be like a standard for them. Like, hey, let's try to get this guy at least 10 targets a game. If you get this guy 10, however you get him, and maybe it's not a target. Maybe you hand him the ball off on an end around or a jet sweep or something, but just get the ball in his hand 10 times. And if you can get 10 top opportunities of him getting the ball in his hands, he's going to make good things happen because he's that caliber of player.
Yeah, I think there should be a more concentrated effort, and I'm going to challenge offensive coordinator Nick Caley to be more creative in the ways that you get Nico the ball. It doesn't always have to be, 20, 25, 30-yard routes. There are ways to run jailbreak, tunnel screen. There are things that you can do to get the ball in his hands. I like Wade's idea of an end around. And I want to add this for the people that are watching, if the Texans are constantly under pressure from opposing defenses, then I always think about, as a former edge defender in my own right, DSR, draw screens in reverse. I don't think this offense uses us enough, along with tempo, along with cadence in terms of your snap count. There are things you can do to mitigate the pressure, and Wade will tell you, being up there up front, there are ways you can do to mitigate some of that pressure that they're receiving from defenses. So I'm going to challenge Nick Caley to be more creative in getting Nico the ball and doing some of those DSR rules. I'm going to pivot off Nico just for a second to simply acknowledge Jaden Higgins. First career touchdown from him. MC, I thought about you.
I was going to ask. You were right. You were thinking him. You were in my head. Because as soon as you got done, I was going to ask if you wanted to give him a little bit of love. He only had 1 target. He had 1 catch, and it was his touchdown.
I'm happy for the young man. And listen, I'm hard, but I'm fair in terms of evaluating guys on Sunday. But I don't think that fans truly understand how difficult it is to go out there and perform. Obviously, Wade does, and to some degree, I do. And MC, you've been covering the league for a long time. It's hard to go out there. Getting in the big rectangle is not easy to do in this league. And the opposition isn't just trying to let you in the rectangle. So, granted, it was 1 pass, but perhaps this will give Higgins some confidence and maybe give the coaching staff some confidence in putting him in more situations. Now, some people might say, Stan, it's 1 touchdown. That's not going to make or break how much rep or how much burn he gets. That's a lie. In the National Football League, them coaches feel better when they see you get in the rectangle. And so Woody Marks got confidence today. You saw Jaden Higgins get confidence today. We've seen Jalen Noel in the return game. He has added some confidence. And Ariante Urcher was a tough week last week. Better for him this week. Perhaps it gives him more confidence. So I thought the young guys grew up over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. You look, just spread the ball, spread the love, I guess, and at the end of the day, score touchdowns. And
what did Christian Kirk end up with? Where was Kirk? I don't remember seeing Kirk like that.
3 for 20, 4 targets. Not much action today.
Wait, I told y'all to start the year. I need Kirk to be a guy. And I'm not seeing, granted, it's only 2 games. He was hurt the first 2 games. But I'm not seeing Kirk show up. Not to be making, what is he, top 20 wide receiver money this year? Kirk not showing up for me. I'm going to need him to come on.
I mean, if you want the offense to be more explosive and for them to convert on, like some of those third downs, they're throwing stop routes to Dalton Schultz 2 yards in front of the
in front of sticks. Yeah.
Sticks, like getting crossing routes, seam routes to Christian Kirk. That he can catch the ball on the run and make plays. You need that stuff in your offense for you to be more explosive. And so
absolutely,
you haven't really seen that to the level that you thought you would get with Christian Kirk. That's another thing that they got to focus on as far as offensively, is making sure they get him the ball as well.
Yeah, he should be running those whip routes. He should be running all those option routes. And for those that don't know, the whip route, you fake in, you pivot, and then you come back towards the sideline. Like that, a quality offensive coordinator can get the ball in the hands of whoever he wants to, based on how they release off the line of scrimmage, pre-snap motion, and what type of routes that you ask the wide receiver to run. So again, I'm gonna challenge Nick Caley. It was enough today. Next week, let's have a different conversation.
And of course, that conversation is going to be a lot different because they're going to be playing a team that we expect. Now, they might not be off to the start that they're expecting this season, but a team that we expect to be very difficult. Let's take a little bit of a preview look at that. Let's get some final thoughts on this one in here in the next couple of minutes on the Locked On Texans Squad Show. Before we get there, though, look, you guys know this. Football season's here. God, isn't it glorious to have Sundays back in your life that are just filled with lots of fun and joy? Well, that's what FanDuel is here for as well. And they have an offer that you do not want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action, whether you're just a casual fan or love diving into the stats. FanDuel makes the game day experience that much better. I know it does for me, but as for everybody else, it's a lot of fun every single Sunday. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the app today and get started with FanDuel. All right, guys, we'll start to wind it down here on the Locked On Texans Squad Show. Michael Connor, Wade Smith, and Stan Norfleet. These guys got more important stuff to do than I do. I'm just over here watching golf as we're doing this because the USA is trying to pull off a miracle comeback in the Ryder Cup, and I need to see this drama. But I need to see today.
What's the score of the Chiefs game? Sorry, MC.
The Chiefs, as we're doing this right now, well, I can tell you this. I'll look inside the division real quick. Jags have taken a 7-3 lead over the 49ers. The Colts and Rams are now tied 3-3. Baltimore's up 7-0 on Kansas City halfway through the first quarter. So That's one of them we're going to be watching as well. I guess final overall thoughts before we take a little bit of a glance ahead to next weekend for a brief moment. Final overall thoughts on where you land for today. Obviously, getting a 26-0 victory, getting the first victory of the season is obviously as important as it gets, but just kind of final overall viewpoint for both of you. Wade, you can lead us off.
I think it was big for the morale of the people in the building, all the people in the building. It's not just the players, it's not just the coaches, it's the people that work in the marketing department, the people that work security in the front. Like when the team loses, everybody feels that. And it changes how your attitude is throughout the day. For all the fans that are in the stands, like I'm in the stands, those fans want to see this team win, and they're putting their everything into trying to help that happen. And so when you can leave the building with the W, with the blowout of a team that everybody hates, or maybe it's just me, but I know a lot of other people can't stand that team. And so to blow them out, and so now you can talk noise to those fans for another however many more weeks till you see them again. That's always a good feeling. You want to try to take that, bottle that up, and try to use that going forward against a very, very formidable opponent that's going to be in the Baltimore Ravens. So just overall, I'm just glad that they got the win. I'm glad that the defense continued to play at a high level. The defensive line, all the guys on the defensive side of the ball kind of did the things that we expected them to do. When you live up to your standard, that's always a good feeling when you're a football player. Sometimes just a professional athlete at all, whatever you are, whatever you're in life. Like if you can live up to your standard, you feel good about yourself when you're leaving the building. And so I know that's how the Texans players feel about themselves right now, and I know the Texans fans are excited about getting that dub.
Stan?
You celebrate going 1-0, especially in the division. The Texans, of the 6 teams that came into week 4 that were winless, the Texans needed that victory the most, given the expectations over the last 2 seasons. So it was good to get that under their belt. Perhaps it will alleviate and some of the tension and anxiety will subside with them getting a victory, especially in the division. I was excited to see Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick from this year's draft. There's something there. He just doesn't have a lot to work with, unfortunately. There's still some room for improvement. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I know I don't have my Analytics ready to go. That's not on brand for me, but I saw some good things from Tony Pollard. I saw some good things from Calvin Ridley. So, like, no game is going to be perfect. So I'm nitpicking when I talk about the nuances. We talked about CJ being under pressure, but he didn't turn the ball over. Stingley capitalized on the interception. The special teams was good. Kaimi knocked in some field goals there. So, again, it was enough for today. I hope that this gives them confidence and they can build on it. But at the end of the day, I get the sense that we're going to revisit some of our conversations from the first 3 weeks once we get into next week. I think Nick Caley stumbled on something. 30 carries by your running back room. That's what you're looking for. That's a recipe that makes this thing easier. We've got yet another game that C.J. Stroud did not amass 250 yards passing. So it's been a while. I think it's 1 game since week 11 last year that he's got 250 yards passing. So we haven't seen the 2023 C.J. Stroud. But again, I'm nitpicking. It was enough today. I celebrate because had they lost that game, I would have had a different tone and different energy. So I'm going to give them their love today. It was enough today, and we celebrate that.
Another day for sure. And what is ahead is the big one next week. And so real quick before we say goodbye, just a quick thought on Ravens and Texans next weekend up there in Baltimore. It's a 12 o'clock kick for that one. Obviously, this has been of all the teams in the AFC, we've talked about this a lot. This has been the one that's given them the biggest fits. They have never been close to beating this team in the CJ Stroud era. Are you feeling any kind of optimism going in, Wade, or is it just going to be a hold your breath and see?
No.
Hey,
Wade, don't you lie to the people. Tell the truth, Wade.
I don't know how to lie. I'm a it is what it is guy. I'm a very optimistic guy, especially when it comes to my team. But at the same time, the evidence shows me that the Texans have struggled mightily with the Baltimore Ravens for years and years and years, and there's nothing that has changed over the past couple of years. And based off of what you've seen from both of these teams about that next week. Now, the Baltimore Ravens do have this propensity for beating themselves late in ball games, and so the Texans got to stay in the game. If they stay in the game, Baltimore will give you a game. They are known to do that. The problem is for the Texans is that over the past I don't know how many years, the games are not close. They are off the grid. They're done early, and so you want to see the Texans. I feel like you're going to see a game plan out of the Texans. Like, we talk about all these targets we're trying to get for Nico Collins and for Christian Kirk and all these guys. I don't really see like that's going to be the game plan going against the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're going to try to run that football. I think they're going to do the quick passing game. I think Dalton Schultz going to have to do a good job of catching and converting on third downs. I think it's going to be more of a conservative approach to try to keep the game close. And lean on their defense to try to figure out a way to stop a team that has really embarrassed them on the defense side of the ball the last few times they played.
Stan, we'll get deeper into it, obviously, this Tuesday when John joins us for the midweek show. But just your early thoughts on going into this matchup.
Texans are 0-3 in the DeMeco and Stroud era versus the Baltimore Ravens, having played them over the last 2 years. Obviously, the Houston Texans, to my knowledge, have never beaten the Baltimore Ravens. A lot of young guys playing for the Houston.
That is incorrect. That is incorrect.
I'm going to say they had to have beaten him at least once. I know that they beat him here with Joe Flacco, right? He was quarterback.
Okay, I stand corrected.
I might have been a quarterback, but the year that they won the Super Bowl, we blew them out at home.
All right, I stand corrected. Yeah. My apologies. Okay.
That was, yeah.
DeMeco, CJ era. Hadn't done it. 2 of those 3 games have been up there. Wade will tell you this. M&T Bank Stadium is one of the most underrated environments in all of pro football. When they get that juice cranked up in there, it's a problem. Texans are playing a lot of young guys. Ursery, Marks, Higgins, Noel. This will be the most raucous NFL environment they've experienced thus far. Will those young guys be able to settle in? Will they get rattled? How will they handle the adversity when Lamar Jackson is out there moving around? This will be the most explosive player, period, on any position that the Texans have faced all year. The dude that wears number 8 in Baltimore is different. How will they handle that? I'm going to tell you this, same as I said a week ago coming in this week. The Texans are going to get smacked by Baltimore. It's going to be a double-digit L. We'll see. Now, that's my early prediction. I know that makes Wade uncomfortable, but it's the truth. Go look at the scores when the Ravens in the DeMeco Stroud era, and I had it handy. I'll have it on Tuesday. I think they've been outscored by the Ravens something crazy like 40-10 or 39-8 or something. It's something ridiculous that they've been outscored by Baltimore. I know we're celebrating the win, so I don't want the fans to be mad at me. But at the end of the day, you all know what's happening when you get to Baltimore. Up there on the shores, it's a problem. And we'll see what happens. Maybe DeMeco and them could do something to change my mind.
Hopefully having the greatest week of game plan in the history of game plan.
Nick Caley coming out party?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's have it. Let's have it next weekend in Baltimore. We'll be here, of course, when that game wraps up. In midweek, we'll be here Tuesday for the Locked On Texans Squad show as well. John will join us. Stan and I and Wade will be back with us next week. And we appreciate both of you guys for taking some time out of your busy Sunday.
Sure.
We will talk again next Sunday after that one. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday afternoon. Enjoy the victory. And we'll see you later on Locked On Texans Squad.